Hello. I'm James and I live in Manchester in the UK. And you're listening to English with a Brew, a podcast where I talk about different day-to-day topics to help you learn English the most natural way possible. And that is only by listening to it. If you want to support this podcast, read transcripts and get exclusive access to more content, go to patreon.com/English with a Brew. So, as we say in Manchester, get a brew on and let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I hope you're all doing great today, as always, and that you're feeling fresh and full of energy. And if you're not, well, I hope it's not because you drank too much last night. I'm not talking about drinking too much water or coffee or orange juice. I'm talking, of course, about drinking too much alcohol. But what happens when we drink too much alcohol? Well, we get drunk. And to be drunk means to be intoxicated when there is a high level of alcohol in our system, in our blood. And what happens when we are drunk? When we are drunk, it can be more difficult to do simple things. We can lose our balance, so we can't stand up, or find it harder to walk in a straight line. We have less control over our bodies. Our vision, our eyesight can also be affected. Things become blurry and out of focus, so they're less clear. It can also affect our speech. We talk more slowly and we slur our speech, meaning words mix with each other. And sometimes we forget what we were going to say during a sentence. It also makes our emotions more intense. Funny things seem more funny. But at the same time, we can be more emotional or angry too. Drunkenness takes our existing emotions and elevates them. It intensifies them. I would say that it's not a good idea to get drunk simply to be drunk. But there are times in life when maybe we have a couple of drinks, just one or two, and depending on where you are and what you are doing, you can have more to drink than you had planned. Like at a party, maybe a birthday party for one of your friends, a Halloween party, or a Christmas party, and you have a few beers or a cocktail or two. Or at a wedding. During a wedding in the UK, it's quite common for there to be alcohol. Usually there are toasts. And toasts are when you all raise a glass of champagne or wine or whatever you are drinking to the new bride and groom and say, "To the bride and groom." And the groom makes a toast, the father of the bride makes a toast, and the best man makes a toast. And before you know it, you can find yourself a little bit tipsy. A bit drunk. And what if you drink too much? What happens? Well, unfortunately, in the morning, you can have a hangover. If you are hung over, usually you have a headache, your head hurts, and you can be sensitive to bright light. So when you go outside for the first time, it can hurt your eyes. You can also feel tired and fatigued and have low energy. And if you're really, really hungover, you can sometimes be sick. You can vomit. And I don't recommend that. Sometimes, even when you are hungover, you are still drunk enough that it's illegal to drive. Personally, I don't drink very much at all. I enjoy 1 or 2 drinks at parties or weddings sometimes, or if I go out to the pub with friends. But I rarely drink alcohol. I don't do it often, in part because I like to eat and drink healthy, and alcohol is not typically super healthy. But primarily, the main reason that I don't drink that much is because I don't enjoy the sensation of being drunk. I don't like not feeling in control of my body, and I want to be aware of the things I do and the decisions that I make. And also, the hangover in the morning is never worth it. So my question for you today is, do you drink alcohol? Maybe you do. Maybe you do a little bit. Maybe you don't drink alcohol at all. If you remember, when was the last time you got drunk? Let me know. That's everything for today's episode of English with a Brew. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you did or if you didn't, and tell me what topics you'd like to hear me talk about in future episodes. And don't forget, if you want to support this podcast and get access to all of the exclusive episodes, you can do that on my Patreon page. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is where you are right now. Take care.